Welcome to our driver's permit education class. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this service. This service is made possible through the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services, also known as ADRS. Our goal is to effectively teach and provide the necessary tools needed to take and pass the driver's permit test. Ready, set, buckle up, and let's do it. My name is Star Croxton. I will be your instructor for this course. This course will cover 9 units. In these units, we will equip you with the knowledge needed to obtain your driver's permit and close with testing at the Department of Motor Vehicles. My goal is to effectively teach and equip students with information and tools necessary to take and pass the driver's permit test. Let's make this virtual learning experience one that will be exciting, knowledgeable, and successful. Participating in this program requires a few documents from you. All documents must be provided before the completion of the classroom portion. Those documents include a consent to release form and a parent agreement form. You will also need your original birth certificate and your original Social Security card in order to take the test at the DMV. You must also pass a vision screen. Those restricted to corrective lenses must wear them. If you do not pass your vision examination, you will be required to have your eyes examined by a licensed professional. And once we've gotten the report from the professional, you can take your written test again. The Alabama DMV permit test contains questions on Alabama traffic laws, road signs, and rules for safe driving. The test consists of around 30 questions. In order to pass the test, you must pass by at least 80%, meaning that you must get at least 24 of the 34 questions correct. To take the test, there's a $5 fee. This fee will be paid for you. If by any chance you don't pass the test the first time, you can take it again for a fee of $5 that you would have to pay yourself. Upon passing the driver permit test, you will need $36.25 for the actual hard copy of your permit. You are responsible for paying this fee. This class meets 9 times before scheduling your DMV. This program schedules the test for you, so you don't have to worry about doing that. We will get the information that's needed. A representative from our program will be with you at the DMV during your time of testing. 5 students will be able to take the test in one session. This test is not timed. Therefore, you have an opportunity to read over everything carefully to make sure that you answer the questions correctly. If you do not know the answer to a question that is being asked, skip that question and come back to it later. Remember never to leave anything blank. Even if you skip it, make sure you go back to it and answer it. If a question populates again that you've already skipped, please raise your hand and ask the DMV worker for assistance. Our consent to release form. The consent to release form states that you, the client, gives the program permission to release information contained in your file concerning your rehabilitation program for training purposes. This information may be released in writing, orally, or electronically for the purpose of furthering your progress and support of the programs that we offer. This consent to release form covers information and records generated by or at the request of the program and does not authorize further release by the program of confidential information transmitted to any other source. This permission will remain valid until a request to counsel is submitted, and that request must be done in writing. This program is not responsible for the release of any confidential information that may be disclosed by any third party furnished under this release. This program is proud to offer educational support to help prepare you for your next step in the future. This form that you see here is a demographic form. On this form, it asks for your date of birth, your name, your address, the city and state you live, your sex, your height, your weight, the color of your hair, and the color of your eyes. All information that is found on a driver's license or that will be found on your permit once you obtain that. You would need to know this information when you go to the DMV. Next, we're going to talk about the driver's permit test. We're going to go over a series of questions that could be on the test that you're going to take. Question number 1. Yellow lines separate A, traffic lines on one-way streets. B, traffic moving in opposite directions on two-way roads. Or C, all carpool lanes from regular traffic lanes. The answer is B. Yellow lines mark the center of the road used for two-way traffic. A solid yellow center line indicates that a driver may not cross the line to pass. A broken yellow center line indicates that the driver may cross the line to pass, but only if passing will not interfere with traffic. Number 2, if you miss your exit on the freeway, you should not A, continue on the freeway and find an alternate route to your destination. B, proceed to the next exit, leave the freeway and return to the proper exit. Or C, back up on the road or shoulder. The answer is C. If you miss your turn or exit, do not back up in the road or on the shoulder. Continue driving to the next exit or crossroad. Drivers do not expect you to drive backward, and it could result in a collision. Number 3, when changing lanes, you should never A, look over your shoulder to check your blind spots. B, change lanes abruptly or spontaneously. Or C, check for other vehicles moving in the same lane. The answer is C. When changing lanes, you must be sure that there are no vehicles in the space that you are trying to enter. Check the other vehicle behind you and on the side of you by using your rearview mirror to make sure that there are not any blind spots. Always use the proper turn signal before changing lane. This allows other vehicles to know that you are trying to move over. Number 4, what can you do to reduce road rage? A, always signal your intention when changing the lane. B, talk on your cell phone while driving. Or C, use your horn frequently. The answer is A. Aggressive drivers tend to demonstrate behaviors like speeding, tailgating, failure to obey traffic signs and devices. They have erratic and improper lane changes. They fail to yield to the right of way and improper passing. To do your part to prevent road rage, you should follow the road laws, signs, signals, and pavements. Always signal your intention when changing lanes. Number 5. The maximum posted speed limit should be driven only A, during night hours, B, during day hours, or C, under ideal conditions. The answer is C. The posted maximum speed limit is the fastest speed limit you can travel on the road under ideal conditions. It is the safest to drive at the same speed as surrounding traffic up to the maximum speed limit. Maintaining a safe speed limit at all times is the responsibility not only of yourself, but other motorists as well. Number 6, stopping distances and the severity of collisions. A, they decrease as vehicle speed increases. B, they are not affected by vehicle speed. Or C, they increase as a vehicle speed increases. The answer is C. Excessive vehicle speed can have disastrous effects. As a vehicle increases speed, the potential for an impact or a collision increases, and it can always escalate to death. Increase your following distance as your speed increases to ensure that you're able to stop safely if needed. Number 7, if you are continually being passed on the right and on the left while driving in the center lane of the expressway, what should you do? Should you A, stay in the center lane, B, move on the lane on your right, or C, move to the lane on your left? The answer is B. You should move to the lane on your right. If a road has 4 or more lanes in two-way traffic, drive in the right lane unless you are passing. Remember, the right lane is your passing lane, and the left lane is for the slower cars. If you are on the interstate highway and are driving below the speed or the flow of traffic, remember, use the left lane. Number 8, night driving presents unique problems because A, the speed limit is increased at night, B, there are fewer cars on the road at night, or C, distance and vehicle speed are difficult to judge in the dark. The answer is C. Night driving creates a unique set of problems for any driver, whether they are experienced or not. Due to the reduced visibility, it can be difficult to judge the distance and traveling speeds of other vehicles when driving at night. Drivers can only see as far as their headlights will allow them to see. Number 13. Which of the following describes the thinking of a defensive driver? A defensive driver always thinks. Which of the following describes the thinking of a defensive driver? A, they know other drivers will do the right thing. B, they consider what other drivers might do and are prepared to react. Or C, they expect no breaks and they don't give any. The answer is B. Driving defensively means anticipating potential errors made by others and preparing to compensate for their mistakes. Number 14, you want to park up a hill on a two-way road and there is no curb. Which direction do you turn your front wheels? A, straight forward, B, to the right, or C, to the left toward the center of the road? The answer is B. When parking either uphill or downhill on a road that has no curb, you should turn your wheels so that the vehicle will roll away from the center of the road if the brakes fail. Number 15, having a driver's license is A, a requirement, B, a privilege, or C, a right. The answer is B. It's important to remember that driving is a privilege and that all drivers play a role in ensuring that everyone remains safe on the roadways. If you prove to be abusive of that privilege could be revoked. It could be taken from you. So be mindful that driving is a privilege. I know that when we're young and we're excited to get on the road, remember that it's a privilege that you can lose. Number 16, if worried, nervous, or angry, drivers should do what? A, let someone else drive. B, be more precise drivers. Or C, they should not drive because they're not thinking clearly. The answer is A. If you're worried, ill, nervous, frightened, angry, depressed, if anything is going on with you, let someone else drive. Driving while your mind is occupied is distracting, and that's never safe for you, and that's not safe for others. Number 17, if your car begins to skid out of control, what should you do? A, pump your brakes. B, apply the brakes lightly. Or C, stay off the brakes. The answer is C. If your car begins to skid, stay off the brakes. Continue to correct your steering until the vehicle is back under control and you're moving down the road safely. Number 18. Your license can be suspended if you're under 21 and driving with a blood alcohol level of what? A, 0.15% or more. B, 0.08% or more, or C, any amount. The answer is C. There is a zero tolerance for alcohol use by drivers under age 21. If you're under the age of 21, the detection of any trace of alcohol in your system will result in stiff penalties, including the suspension of your license for 2 entire years. This is what we discussed, where you can lose your privilege. Drinking alcohol and operating a vehicle under the age of 21 could cause you to lose your privilege of having a driver's license for 2 entire years. Number 19, you should check your rearview mirrors when? A, as often to see how traffic is moving behind you. B, just to see if your vehicle is in a blind spot. Or C, only when you're slowing down. The answer is A. When driving, do not develop a fixed stare. Frequently check your rearview mirrors so you can know the positions of the vehicles that are near you. You want to know what's going on around you. Number 20, in which of the following scenarios should your wheels not be pointed straight ahead? A, when waiting to make a left turn at a traffic light. B, when parked on a hill or sloping driveway. Or C, when parked on the side of a level roadway where there is no curb. The answer is B. While waiting to turn left, keep your wheels pointed straight ahead until it's safe to start your turn. If a vehicle hits you from behind, this will prevent you from steering into oncoming traffic. When you're parked facing either downhill or uphill, turn your wheels so that the vehicle will not roll into the center of the road, but rather to the curb in case your brakes fail. Number 21, a distraction when driving is A, anything that causes evasive action while driving. B, anything that takes your attention while driving. Or C, anything that you pay more attention to when driving. The answer is B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving is a distraction. Distracted drivers can cause collisions, resulting in property damage, injury, and also death. Number 22. If you are continually being passed on the right and on the left while you're driving in the middle of the expressway in the center lane, you should A, stay in the center lane, B, move to the right lane, or C, move to the lane on your left. The answer is B. If you are on a road that has 4 or more lanes with two-way traffic, drive in the right lane unless you're passing or turning to the left. If you're on the interstate, highway, and are driving below the speed limit, the flow of traffic, use the right lane. So if you are passing, make sure that you always use the right lane. Number 23, if it is necessary to make an emergency stop while driving on the interstate, what should you do? A, sound the horn so the cars around you will know what's going on. B, get off the road. Flag down the first vehicle you can to help you. Or C, pull off the road. Turn on your emergency flashers and stay in your vehicle if you can. The answer is C. If you must stop on the shoulder of the interstate or highway, you turn your emergency flashers on to warn drivers behind you that something is going on. You move your vehicle off the road. And if you can, you stay inside of the vehicle. This is important because there are extremely high speed and traffic coming and going. And it could result in you being hit if you get outside of the vehicle. Number 24, you reach an intersection with stop signs on all 4 corners at the same time as the driver on your left and as the driver on your right. Who has the right of way? A, the driver on the left has the right of way. B, the vehicle to the right has the right of way. Or C, whoever is signaling first has the right of way. The answer is B. If 2 vehicles arrive at the same time to an intersection that has stop signs on all 4 corners, the vehicle on the right has the right of way. Number 25, if your car becomes disabled on the highway, what should you do? A, stop in the right lane. B, park with all 4 wheels off the traveled highway if possible, or C, stop where you are? The answer is B. If possible, park with all four wheels off the highway. Try to get the vehicle off the highway so it won't result in a collision. That concludes our questions for the permit test. Next, we're going to talk about the driving test. And we're going to go over some terms, their definitions, and their meanings. Driving a motor vehicle is a serious responsibility not only to you, but also to others on the road. To be a good, safe driver, you must know the rules and you must respect them. You must follow them, you must follow the driving procedures, and you must have a good attitude. The proper attitude towards the law and toward others on the road is extremely important. Courtesy towards others should be practiced. We want to call these courtesies good driving habits. It's just as easy to develop good driving habits as it is to fall into bad habits. Safety techniques begin with the moment you step into your car. Start by forming good habits immediately. For example, when you get in your car, put your seatbelt on, and you do it every time you get in your car. It becomes a habit, something that you just know to do when you get in the car. Whether you're going a few blocks or whether you're going miles, you need to have good driving habits. Second, entering the car and posture. Develop a routine for entering and leaving your car. Make sure that your seats are adjusted, your mirrors are checked. If you have passengers, you make sure that they have their seat belts on. And all of this should be done before turning your ignition on. Before doing anything with the vehicle, you want to make sure that everyone is safe. Good posture at the steering wheel is very important. It will result in better vision, better control of the automobile, and the ability to maneuver in the case of an emergency. You should sit erect, comfortably gripping the outside rim of the steering wheel with both hands. Always keep both hands on the steering wheel unless you're moving them to signal to the left or to the right. Develop a routine for entering and leaving your car. Adjust the mirrors, seats, and check your passengers to make sure that they are properly seated. Before switching on your ignition, you want to make sure that everyone is in the car is safe. Good posture at the steering wheel is very important. It will result in better vision, control, and the ability to maneuver the vehicle in case of an emergency. You should always sit erect, comfortably gripping the outside of the steering wheel with both hands. The only time that a hand should leave the steering wheel is if you're using it to signal to your left or to your right. This will ensure the proper use of the vehicle. Pavement markings. Definitions that we want to go over. The first definition is center lines. The center line is the painted line that you see in the middle of the road. Center lines are painted yellow on two-lane highways and white on multi-lane highways and one-way streets. Broken lane lines are used in areas where there's no restrictions on passing when it's safe to do. In those areas where passing is not allowed, a solid yellow line is painted alongside the broken line. If the solid yellow line is on your side of your center line, you may not pass. If passing is not allowed for traffic in both directions, the broken line will be replaced with two solid yellow lines. Our next definition is lane dividers. When a roadway consists of two or more traffic lanes for vehicle moving in one direction, the lane has a divided broken white line. These broken lines may be crossed when passing. If the line is broken, you can cross it to pass. Our next definition is edge striping. In many areas, the right and or the left edges of the highway are marked with a solid white line. This line indicates the outside edge of traffic lane. It lets you know that you're about to run off the road. It lets you know that there's a shoulder to that side of that line. Occasionally, yellow lines are used to the left edge lines on divided roadways where traffic cannot be pulled entirely off road, for markings of obstructions and islands which must be passed on the right. Our next definition is white solid lines. A normal white solid line is used to delineate the edge of a travel lane where travel in the same direction is permitted on both sides of lines, but crossing the line is not encouraged. A white solid line is used for emphasis where crossing requires unusual care. Our last definition is double-sided white lines. A double-sided white line is used to delineate a travel lane where travel is the same direction and is permitted on both sides, but crossing that double line is not permitted. Next, we want to talk about pedestrians. Pedestrians always have the right of way. Therefore, drivers must be mindful that they have to stop for children, and school safety patrol directors, they must yield to blind pedestrians. They must yield to people using canes and guide dogs. We must not block crosswalks when stopping at red lights or stop signs. We must stop for school buses that display an extended stop arm. Even when pedestrians are wrong, they have the right of way. The number of pedestrian injuries and fatalities could be greatly reduced if motorists were more observant, particularly on streets where parked vehicles, that nighttime, where children were at play, in areas where churches are near post offices, near mailboxes, near school bus stops, and other high traffic areas. It's an important point to remember that pedestrians always have the right of way. This concludes our driver's education course. We hope that you have gained the information and knowledge to be successful in obtaining your permit. Remember, when you go to the DMV, you must have a signed parent agreement, your original birth certificate, your original Social Security card, and the $36.25 fee for your hard copy. Thank you for the opportunity to present this program to you.